All my LED internal downlights have arrived for both inside the house and around the veranda. Over 60 of them. I got these for $8.30 each. In the large hardware chain stores, you'd pay 3 times that price. I've got the 3-pin plug in them, so it's just plug them in, push them up in the ceiling. So tonight I'll be able to do a test of all my wiring, so I'm looking forward to that, see the house lit up. So there's a total of over $531 worth of lights. I've had to spend about another $300 this week on electrical fittings, power points and switches and conduit and things like that. So overall my electrical expenses on the house for plugs and lights and so forth are going to be around about the $3,000 to $4,000 Australian mark. Here's how you install these lights. Bingo. Today my electrician wired in my lighting circuits. So tonight I can see what the house looks like lit up. The house is still a building site, so there's tools and junk where there won't be long term. Amazing the light these LEDs put out. All the lights you're looking at are 8 watts. That's a feature one to highlight the shadows on the rock wall. Let's go inside. Whoa! Light overload. It's the lounge, hallway, kitchen. Yeah, I think there's enough light there. This is the view from the kitchen. That's the fridge and the pantry, looking back towards the lounge dining. Is our range hood. And the burner's covered over. The gluten. After the adhesive not holding the tiles down the first time I laid the floor in this toilet, I've redone it again, and as I mentioned, putting the adhesive both on the tile as well as the floor. I've got really good adhesion. I'm reasonably happy with the result that I've got. When you start tiling a room this size, you very quickly find out how square your room is. Obviously you want nice straight parallel rows of tiles parallel with your walls. You can't always get that if your walls are kicked in even a tiny little bit over this length. It's about 10 mil out. If you're going to do any tiling, get yourself some knee pads. These are my old ones. I've had them about 3 years since I started building the house, and they're just a simple piece of foam. The elastic's worn out, so I went and got a new pair, and these were quite cheap, under 20 bucks. Got a really solid pad, a nice padding, nice wide strap, big Velcro strip. So do yourself a favour, if you're going to do your own tiling, invest in a pair of good knee pads. If you're not going to do your own tiling, and you've got a mate who's a tiler, make him your best friend, because I've got a new respect for tilers, because this is a very exact job. When you're laying small floor tiles, like mosaic ones about that big on a sheet, it's very easy to follow the slope of your floor. When you're laying tiles this size, 300 by 300 mil, trying to get the slope and all the edges to line up is not an easy task, but I've done the best I can. I found that it was best to just chuck the wedges away, the self-leveling wedges away, and just use the spacers and get the edges correct by eye. Before I relaid this toilet, I've laid all the tiles in the laundry. Why did I do the laundry before the toilet? Maybe you're thinking, following my rule of start a new job in a place where it won't be seen the most. I thought, oh, well, the toilet's the place to start. People don't go in there much. And then I realised, what do you do when you go into a toilet, you look at the floor. So that's why I started in the laundry, tile underneath where all the benches and sinks and cupboards are going to go. Did a lot of learning there, worked my way out where the main traffic area will be in that room, and then I came back and did this room. So hopefully I know what I'm doing now, because the bathroom's next and that has to be perfect. For those of you who were worried in the last video that I hadn't put a floor drain in, there it is. It's that green square covered in masking tape. That will have a tile in the middle of it when I get around to it. And to finish the edges on the door, I've got 2 aluminium strips, both sort of square U-shape. One goes along the edge of the floating timber floor to give it a dressed edge, and then the other one is a similar shape, and it goes over and under the edges of the tiles to give them a finished and a safe edge. Before I start in the bathroom, I've got a chance to learn how to lay the wall tiles that are going to go in there, because we're putting them here in the toilet halfway up the walls, 2 rows high. They're a big tile, 300 by 600, and they've got that rectified edge, so they have to be laid very, very carefully. So in this room I can get a chance to learn a few things about how to apply them in the bathroom, and hopefully know what I'm doing by the time I get there, because these are fairly expensive, and well, they deserve a really good job because they're a nice tile. The last wet area that I have to tile the floor in is this bathroom. I've got my screen already in place for the shower with the strip drain that I put in. You'll remember I changed that from a drain in the centre to a strip drain. But before I can put the screen down and tile the floor in this bathroom, I need to test the corner spa bath that I bought. The size of this bathroom requires the smallest corner bath that you can get to go in there. They cost about $2,000 to $3,000 and upwards if you want to go that crazy. I picked one up on eBay for $100. A mouse had got in it. It was a new one, a display one, it had never been used in a home. And a mouse had got into it and eaten some of the wires. So I bought it knowing it had electrical faults. So I've got 2 things I've got to do. I've got to make sure the basics of the bath work, the pump and so forth. And then Brendan my wife wants to see it in position in the corner here to make sure she's happy with the shape of it. The reason I've got to do this is if we change our mind about the type of bath that we have in the corner here, the plumbing and the wiring and even the floor, particularly where the floor drain is, because there's going to be a floor drain here, that will change if we change baths. So I've got to give the bath a check over. Don't have to get it 100% running, but the basics need to be working. And then I need to bring it up here and put it in the corner and see if she who must be obeyed is happy with it. So here's the spa bath down in the garage. I've stripped it earlier, taken all the side panelling off and so forth to fix the wires in there that were chewed through. They were fairly straightforward. And it's got an electronic display here which lights up with digital symbols on it, and the display's working but the pump's not switching. So to make sure that the problem is not the pump which is in there, if that's not working, I've gone to the computer control box, and it's got quite a bit of a module in there to control everything, and I've disconnected the spa pump from that, and I've direct wired it to a 3-pin plug. This will tell me if the pump itself works, because if the pump doesn't work with direct wiring, then this is $100 I can just afford to throw away. Well, let's see if the pump works direct wired. Excellent, but I've really got to test this out to make sure it works properly. hope you people appreciate some of the things that I have to do for these videos. I've got no hot water in here, it's just cold, but luckily for me, it's an unseasonably hot start to spring that we're having in Australia this year, and it's just over 30 degrees. It's actually quite pleasant in here. I guess if all else fails, and Brenda doesn't like this in the bathroom, I can stick it out on the deck and turn it into an outdoor spa. $100, bargain. So I can get the spa bath on my own up into the house and manoeuvre it through the doorways, the laundry and the hallway into the bathroom on my own. I put a temporary trolley and screwed it onto the side and fitted it with some swivel casters.
Streams are swollen, keep them doggies rolling raw hard. Rain and wind and weather, hell bent for leather, wishing my gal was by my side. All the things I'm missing, good victuals, love and kissing, are waiting at the end of my ride.
Houston, we have a problem. I can't get the bath through this doorway and around the corner. When I was putting the drywall in this section of the house, I knew that this point here was a pinch point and that I wouldn't get the 4 metre gyprock sheets through. So you may or may not remember I left sheets off the end of this wall at the back of the wardrobe in the bedroom down the end there, so that I could bring the sheets in this way. But obviously since then, all the walls are up, so that opening's no longer available. And the spa bath, well, I can't turn it. So what I've had to do is take the feet off. There's about 6 or 7 of them on the bath. Take them off and see if I can get that through. Now, if I can't, I'll have to take off this this bit of timber and take the door off and get another 50 mil. And then I've got another pinch point down there where the bathroom door is. So I don't know whether I'm going to get that in there either. When people design homes, you don't design these factors in, not unless you're Liberace and you absolutely know you've got to get a grand piano through a certain pathway. You design your floor plan for the living style that you want and the space that you've got and your budget. And you don't factor in things like this. I've been in houses where you couldn't get fridges in and things like that. So, yeah, let's see if we can get lucky. That was close. Now for the next doorway. To make sure I've got enough clearance off the shower for this bath to fit, I'll have to take the casters off so I can push it right back into the wall. But so far, so good. I've got it from the garage up to the bathroom by myself. This is the key point here. whether Brenda considers there's enough room to get out past the shower. And unfortunately, if we have a glass wall, a glass panel coming out here, there won't be. We may be able to shorten that panel and only have a half panel, and that would give enough room. It's all going to depend on what the boss says. Please use our products after carefully reading following noticeable things. No using after drinking or taking anaesthetic medicine such as hypnotic. Minors must use it under Patriarch's correct direction. No using for hypertension or heart disease sufferer. Maybe all of that leaves me out. Thanks for watching. We'll work this out, and I'll see you in the next episode.